All right, this is the conclusion and just a recap of the reappearance of the Christ. There's about a page and a half here to read, and then we'll just talk for a minute about what we had covered. So the conclusion, the call for preparation for the reappearance of the Christ has gone out. The call to world salvage has sounded forth, and today's spiritually minded men everywhere and disciples of the Christ are assembling all over the world. It is not an assembling upon the physical plane, but a profound subjective and spiritual happening. Even those with only a faint glimmer of understanding as to what the call truly signifies are responding and asking for the opportunity to help and for guidance as what they may do. And, between me and whoever's watching this, that this is certainly the case. Now, I don't know when it happened or how it happens for everyone else, but some years ago, this certainly hit me like a ton of bricks, just from a personal standpoint. And then it was really preparing myself and still preparing myself, through learning and knowledge and, and education, new education, and trying to, determine what I can do or what, in what ways, can we help? So today, therefore, we wait for the new appearing. The Christ is universally expected, and in this spirit of expectancy comes the antidote to the spirit of fear and horror which has descended upon our unhappy planet. Humanity today looks in two directions, towards the devastated earth and the agonized hearts of men. It also looks towards the place from whence the Christ will come, which they symbolically call heaven, where there is the same expectancy, where there is uniformity of testimony and of prediction, and where all the indications of the time of the end are with us. Is it not reasonable to believe that a great event is in process of taking place? If in the midst of death and destruction, there is to be found a living faith, and there is such a faith everywhere, and a burning zeal which pierces through the darkness to the center of light, does that not warrant the assumption that this faith and this zeal are founded on a deep intuitive knowledge? May it not be a divine fact that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, as Paul said in Hebrews 11. Humanity in all lands today awaits the coming one, no matter by what name they may call him. The Christ is sensed as on his way. The second coming is imminent, and from the lips of disciples, mystics, aspirants, spiritually minded people, and enlightened men and women, the cry goes up, let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. These words are a demand, a consecration, a sacrifice, a statement of belief, and a challenge to the avatar, the Christ, who waits in his high place until the demand is adequate and the cry clear enough to warrant his appearance. One thing is most necessary to have in mind. It is not for us to set the date for the appearing of the Christ or to expect any spectacular aid or curious phenomenon. If our work is rightly done, he will come at the set and appointed time. How, where, or when he will come is none of our concern. Our work is to do our utmost and on as large a scale as possible to bring about right human relations, for his coming depends upon our work. All of us can do something to bring the present terrible world situation to an end and to better conditions. The least of us can play our part in inaugurating the new era of goodwill and understanding. It must be realized, however, that it is no millennium for which we work, but that our main objective is, at this time, twofold. One, to break the ancient and evil rhythms and establish a new and better one. It is here that time is a paramount factor. If we can delay the crystallization of the ancient evils which produced the world war and arrest the reactionary forces in every nation, we shall be making way for that which is new and opening the door to the activities of the new group of world servers in every land, that group which is the agent of the Christ. And two, to fuse and blend the united aspiration and longing of the people everywhere, so that the sound of humanity's demand may be strong enough to reach the spiritual hierarchy. This will require sacrifice, understanding, and a deep love of our fellow men. It will also require intelligence and wisdom and a practical grasp of world affairs. As the work goes forward in the establishing of right human relations, which is the basic world need, and as the method of so doing, goodwill, is developed, the Christ and his disciples will steadily approach closer to mankind. If the initial premise is accepted that he is on his way, then all spiritually oriented people and the disciples and aspirants of the world will inevitably work. But the premise must be accepted if the incentive is to prove adequate. It is with this thought that we look into the future. The fiat of the Lord has gone forth. Christ stands attentive to the demand of humanity. That demand is rising and mounting every day, and in such an hour as you think not, he will come. And the book, this here finishes off with looks like a short poem. So I'll go ahead and read that. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. I guess not a poem. It was more like an invocation or a prayer. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all men love. And my friends, that's the end of the book, The Reappearance of the Christ. And just a couple quick words about all the things that we had talked about. We talked about the world today, and we talked about the doctrine of the coming one and the doctrine of avatars that really synthesized all the world religions for us. It put away dogma. It really allows us to be much more inclusive. We talked about the Christ's unique occasion, the world expectancy, the work of the Christ today and in the future, as the forerunner to the Aquarian age. We talked about crisis, the releaser, Christ, the releaser of energy, and Christ, the unifier of the East and the West. We talked about what the teachings of the Christ will be, the establishing of right human relations, the law of rebirth, the mysteries of initiation, and the dispelling of glamour. In chapter 6, we talked about the New World religion. The fact includes the fact of God, man's relationship to God, the fact of immortality and of eternal persistence, and the continuity of revelation and the divine approaches. And then in chapter 7, we talked about the preparation for the reappearance of the Christ, the inertia of the average spiritually minded man, and the lack of financial support for the work of the Christ. And, you know, this book is a really a really great stepping off point. And hopefully it just makes us hungry for more. So the first book that we had covered was From Bethlehem to Calvary. And, that went through the initiations of Jesus and the 5 demonstrations or initiations and what he had actually demonstrated. And that was written by Alice Bailey and was approved by Master DK for release. That's a great book to introduce people to really start opening their minds. And then this book, you can present them in any way that you would want to anyone. But in my mind, this is a great second book because it does go deeper into the past avatars or the past world saviors or the past messianic messengers. And it really brings it more all together. And then it brings us into the present. And then it also extends out into the new age of Aquarius. So this is just a great bridge, another great bridging book. And, if somebody is new to these things, reads it with an open mind, there could definitely be, this can expand their horizons and really kind of get us moving in the right direction. From here, I think we're going to move on with some of the early books in the Ageless Wisdom, and I think we're going to go with Initiation Human and Solar, and that really starts getting into some of the deeper aspects of esotericism and discipleship and some of the rules of the road and things we can work on and to see where we're at, and in seeing where we're at, we can have a more comfortable relationship with those around us. We understand the right human, we understand the human condition better, and this is all very important stuff. So I think that book is about 180 pages or so. So we'll get started on that here soon. Yeah. All right. Well, be blessed, and we're going to keep these teachings going and do as much as we can. All right. Have a good one. Thanks.